So most people don't know what these are for. And believe it or not, they're meant to go into the Japanese impact drivers. For those that are new, I'm Matt and I absolutely love tools, but I've gravitated to Japanese tools over the years. And if you didn't know, the Japanese use a slightly different 1/4" shank bit. So this is the one I use here in Australia, and I think most other places around the world, I don't know where else actually uses the same as the Japanese, whether it's just in Japan, but you can see the size difference there. So you can see there, it's roughly 13 millimeters compared to the 7mm one that I usually use. So obviously when it comes to using these Japanese bits with the non-Japanese tools, so this is one of my first impact drivers actually. This is the old Makita. This has to be like 18 years old now. So I'll put that in. It's not gonna lock in because that shank is that little bit too long. But if we swap over to the Japanese Makita, clips in and you've got a little bit of play, which is usual. But if we then swap it over to the normal bits that I use, you can see there's a lot of play in that. So let's take a look at what's happening inside. This is the vessel catalog, which I found a really good picture of inside the impact driver. So obviously the shank is filling up more of the space compared to these smaller ones. But you can also see that they've got this here, which I found really interesting. So that's why they have these bits which fit just as well. So when you put that in, it's got just as much movement because it's got that part there. I don't know if ours actually has that. So I found that quite interesting. I didn't know that part until I read through this book. You can see you've got a little lip just in there, which would sit on that right there. So it sits down, and then that way, if you put another bit on top, fills the gap just like so. So we'll drop that in. Unfortunately, they don't stay in. So that's one of the annoying parts. So if you do swap bits, that is most likely going to fall out sometime. Before I put it in there, I'll show you how much movement there is compared to having this inside. It's about what you normally get from your Japanese bits. So that is the idea of these. I still don't know what these are called. I did buy a whole pile from Japan, but they're just called a Makita bit, basically. So they're sort of hard to find. I'll leave a description of the part number that these fall under. But with all this, it did sort of get me thinking, because I do use normal bits from Australia in this impact driver. I haven't had any problems. I've heard some people supposedly have had them stuck, but I haven't actually talked to those people. It's just rumors. Usually I do use the vessel bits, which I have and I sell. They fit perfectly and they have been really good up until now. So there you go, a little bit of extra information about some Japanese tools, Makita gear, and the bits that they have. So I love talking about this stuff. Hit me up in the comments if you've got anything else that you want me to cover, any questions, or even if you've got information on this sort of stuff. I'm always learning. I only learned about this not long ago, so that's why I thought I would show you guys. Cheers.